All right, does everyone have enough space? Are you guys okay? Okay. I think I'll get started. I can't remember who else told me they were coming, but they can jump in if they show up. So I just wanted to start in child's pose this morning and take the first breaths to settle in. In child's pose, traditionally, knees are wide, but I always give you the option of bringing your knees together, especially if your lower back is feeling tight, the lower part of the spine. So play with it a little bit. Maybe try the position wide, try it narrow, and see what feels best this morning. Once you lengthen your arm, definitely take a good stretch, but then allow softness. So once you extend the arms and you've grounded down through your hands, then allow everything to sort of become as heavy as possible, so that the hands feel like they're sinking into the mat, and then the forearms connect, and then the upper arms become heavy, and the shoulders start to drop a little bit. And just feel your heart connecting to the earth, getting that initial sense of opening the heart. And let your seat be as heavy as possible. So imagine your pelvis is like a sack of sand and it's just sinking down into the earth, so that we really can create a little bit of space through that area that tends to hold on to quite a bit of tension. We compress into it all day long. Let the feet relax. We don't give our feet enough attention. And then as you settle into this first posture, instead of trying to see in the mind space, notice how the body feels and begin to organize your physical body. Right? This is a moment to notice what you woke up with as far as any congestion in the body, any areas that might feel a little bit more closed off. Just really tuning in for a few breaths. And then notice how the breath feels. Right? So the key part of our practice is connecting to our breath, making it conscious, making it intentional. So start to create that rhythm of breath, right, that you feel is best for you this morning. Inhaling through the nose, see how much space you can open up. So imagine when you take that breath in, oftentimes, right, the front of the chest flares a little bit, and then it sinks back down as we exhale. So we have so much capacity. Every time you inhale, let's see what other part of that rib cage you can open up. The side body. A lot of the back body as well. We have like 60% of capacity back there that we don't utilize as we should. So just really taking the time to draw in as much energizing breath as you can. And then shifting your attention to the exhale, right? That releasing breath out. Allowing every exhale to give you that sense of arriving into your practice this morning. It could be like a little sigh with your mouth open, your throat relaxed. And then notice how busy the mind might be this morning. If it's noisy, if there's a lot of internal chitter chatter, pretty vivid pictures. Take a moment and acknowledge it. It's there. Right? We carry it around with us. But then allow yourself to just observe it. Right? Step away from it. Giving yourself a moment to sort of turn inward, right, and separate. The more we can clear the mind space, right, the more we can create space through the physical body as well with the breath. And if you would like to set an intention for your practice, right, something in addition to the breath that might help you stay focused, stay present, right, you can take that intention and set it right behind your third eye center. Let's take a breath together, long and spacious. Try to get it into the pit of your belly. And then open your mouth and empty it to its fullest. All right, moving really slowly, let's rise up and come on to tabletop. So you're going to come on hands and knees. Separate your knees if they're together, so they're about hips width distance, right under the hips, wrists right under the shoulders. I want you to just try and keep your gaze towards the front of your mat, and then we'll just start to lengthen the body. Inhaling, we'll reach the right arm and the left leg. Exhaling, we'll bring it back to the earth. And just allow yourself to move to the rhythm of your breath. So I'll keep cueing you, but if you're going a little bit more slowly or a little bit more quickly than I am, just follow your breath. This is your practice. Try to continue cultivating that sense of presence to where you acknowledge that things, people, noises are around you, but you're very focused on just your breath and staying present in your movements. We'll take a few more rounds here. Notice if you feel like your spine is arching when you extend your arm and leg. Let's try to create more length than lift here. So maybe you drop the arm down a little bit, the leg down a little bit. Start to begin that sense of gathering your center together. I always say try reaching your ribs to your hip bones and your hip bones towards your ribs and really closing that center space. Let's do one more on each side and we'll meet back together in that neutral tabletop. And once we come back to all fours, I'm going to have you tuck your toes into the mat, and then we'll really engage the core a little bit more. So take a breath in. With your exhale, you're going to lift your knees and just hover the shins off the earth. Focus on the breath here, strong through your breath. Notice the top of the shoulders. Try to really pull them away from the ears. Keep the heart wide open. See if you can squeeze your shoulder blades just a little bit. Keep the heels lifted. Really root down through each and toes a little bit. We'll take one more breath in here. And with your exhale, lower your knees. Untuck your toes and just give yourself a reach back into child's pose. Just for a breath. Once you extend your arms, take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Now come back to center tabletop for another breath in. And exhale, we're sending it into high plank. Take one leg back first, root down, and then take the opposite leg back. All right, so a little bit deeper than that short plank we just did. Try activating every single part of the body now. Reach the heels behind you, right? Keep the shoulder blades as neutral as you can. You can lift your hips a little bit higher than you think and find more power through your center here. Stay steady through the breath, too. Sometimes when we stay still, our breath seizes a little bit, so notice how it's doing. Lengthen it even more. Take a deeper breath in, a deeper breath out. One more time, deep inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips way up and then reach them back. Adjust your stance. You want to end up in a pretty good inverted V position here, and sometimes it takes a moment to settle in. So move your feet forward, move them back, see what feels best. If you need some movement this morning, you can alternate dropping the heels down, shift your weight side to side, shake out your head. Notice if there's any tension in the upper spine and in the neck. Yeah, whatever feels good to settle you in. And then we'll get a sense of rooting down and really connecting to the earth here. Foundation through the hands. Oftentimes we feel the palms, but can you really root down through the knuckles, through the fingertips, and then moving into the bottom part of the arms. Find as much length as you can. So even though you're gripping the earth, you're also pushing it away. Notice the upper arm. If we spiral it outward a little bit, so the inside of the elbows is facing forward, you're going to really widen the heart space. And then lengthening the spine simply by reaching the tailbone up and behind you. And finally, that strong sense of rooting through your heels. If it's tough to root down through your heels, bend your knees, right? It doesn't have to be a rigid posture here. Give yourself that opportunity to find those roots without overextending. From here, we're going to bring the feet together and then send the right leg behind you and up. So I say behind you first because I want you to lengthen it first and then start reaching it towards the sky. Notice if that right hip really lifted up, try to bring it down and keep it even with the opposite left one. Try playing with pointing and flexing that foot a couple of times so you feel a stretch through the front line and the back line of that leg. And now bend that knee. Try to reach the heel towards your bum. Do stack the hips now. Allow that right hip to lift. Yeah, if you want to circle the leg or the ankle here, just gently opening up the hip joint. Continue to stay really focused on the breath here. Reverse any movements that you're doing. If you made circles, try doing them in the opposite direction. And try keep the right shoulder tries to elevate here. Try to square your shoulders a little bit more, and you'll get a really nice opening through the right side body. Now on an inhale, reach the right leg behind you and exhale back to downward facing dog. All right, separate your feet about hips width distance again like you had them originally. And let's just flow through some movement with breath. On an inhale, glide forward into your high plank. With your exhale, return to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, glide back. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, gliding into plank. Lots of length here. Exhale, pike your seat up. 1 more time, 1 more breath's worth. Inhale, forward. And exhale, downward dog. 1 more time, bring the feet together. Let's take the opposite left leg back first and then begin to gently lift it. All right, all those same cues here. We want to try and keep initially the shoulders and the hips squaring down. All right, you can point and flex the toes. Really whatever feels good here to open up that left side now. And then let's bend the knee, really reach the heel towards the bum, and now stack those hips. Yeah, rotating a little bit. Keep reaching down with your right heel. Don't forget that rooting leg here. And now left shoulder, can we bring it a little closer to the earth? Good. If you took some movements, reverse them. Good job. And then we'll inhale, lengthen that leg. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Take a giant breath in. Exhale forward back to high plank. When you come in from downward dog, walk your feet back just a tiny bit. Adjust. We'll take another breath in here. Exhale to your low plank. Try to graze your ribs with the arms here. Keep them really close to the torso. Let's try to hover over the earth for a count of 3, 2, and on 1, just melt yourself down. Untuck the toes if they're tucked into the earth, and then really press through the feet so you feel active legs. All right, let's come into Bhujangasana. I feel this is the best warm-up for the upper spine. So we'll bring the hands just underneath the shoulders, draw the elbows a little closer together, and then on an inhale, reach the crown of your head forward first so you feel a long neck, and then lift the neck and the shoulders. And we'll stay up here now. Oftentimes, when you're pressing into your hands, your shoulders are going to elevate. Notice if that happens, can you drop them down? All right. Keep the gaze just ahead of the mat, even here, and that way the neck stays long. See if you can come just above the lower part of the ribs. We'll take a breath in. Exhale, soften all the way down. Let's move through breath that way. Inhale, lift up into your baby cobra. Exhale, roll back down through the spine. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, reaching and lifting. Create some length. Exhale, rolling down. We'll do that 1 more time. Inhale, lift into your baby cobra. Stay for the exhale. Now the torso might come down a little bit, but let's power up the upper back and float the hands. Stay strong through your breath. And then you have an option here. We can also float the legs, get the back line of the legs waking up a little bit. Take 1 more breath in. Exhale, release the hands and legs and slide the forearms forward. Let's take it into Sphinx here. We did this the other day, and it felt so good after Baby Cobra. So now you have a little bit of a stronger root here from your forearms and your hands. Keeping the neck long, shift your gaze over to your right side. Make sure your legs are still active. You're still pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. Couple breaths on this side. And then we'll gently take it back through center, take it to the other side. Not overdoing it, just gently opening the right side of that neck, those big muscles that get tense. Take one more breath on this side. And then bring it back to center. All right, from here, we're going to lower the head just for a moment, release the arms at your sides, and just take a couple of breaths, allowing the body to soften a bit. Good. Before we continue, just notice, make sure you feel a strong rhythm of breath, right? This is what's going to guide us through the rest of the flow. Make sure your mind is as calm as you can get it to be. Right? Again, just observing anything that's in there. Imagine that the thoughts or the ideas or the conversations, they're like clouds. Right? So we have this big blue sky, and then the clouds flow in, just like our thoughts, but then allow them to just flow back out, so not having any sort of connection to any of it. All right. Give yourself a breath when you're ready. We're going to rise up to tabletop very slowly. You've been moving the spine a bit, so be gentle. And then let's just go through a few cat-cows before we stand. As you inhale, you're going to drop the belly, bend the arms, lift the tailbone, really wide collarbone here, and then exhale, push away the earth, tuck the tail, tuck your chin, soften the ribs. Take a couple more breaths here, just moving really slowly. It's always nice to feel, as we go through integration, how the body is already starting to warm up. Let's take one more round. And then we'll come back to neutral tabletop. Take a breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Settle in for a breath. Now inhale, lift your heels as high as you can. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and walk to the front of your mat. Let's keep the feet apart for a ragdoll forward fold. Now, at least hips width distance is good, and it might be helpful to slightly rotate your feet out. And then release your head. It might help to shake it out again. Let the arms be really heavy, or you could take a bind and clasp your elbows to your hands. There's definitely room for movement here too. I always like to sway my torso side to side. It kind of opens up the spine a little bit more. If the back of the legs is feeling tight, start to, instead of straightening the legs, feel the tailbone lifting up. And the more the tailbone lifts, let the head be heavier. Right? So just in opposition there, the tailbone reaches, and then the crown of the head is down towards the earth. If you took a bind, try switching the opposite arm in front always and just get that extra little stretch. It always feels different on both sides. Let's give it one more inhale here. And with your exhale, release your binds. We'll heel toe the feet together. And then take this as an active stretch. Let the head hang down as you slowly rise up to standing. So first moving through the lower spine and then middle, upper, into the shoulders. Finally, let the head come up last. Hopefully you feel a little taller. Let's inhale, sweep the arms high above us. Exhale, hands to heart center. Wow, the weather, so good right now. Let's close the eyes. So grateful for that. All right. Strong through your breath and intention. And let's just clear a little bit more space by chanting one Om together. Take a breath in. All right, take the deepest breath in that you can. Open your mouth for this one and let it go. All right, release your hands. Blink open your eyes. We're ready for sun salutations. On an inhale, sweep the arms high above you. Allow the heart and the gaze to lift. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Let the head hang. Inhale, lift halfway up. We'll pause here and breathe, really pressing the hands into the shins. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. So feel a long line from the crown of your head all the way to your tailbone. Take another breath in. Exhale, high plank. All right, I always like to hold this first one. How about 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's take a breath in. Exhale to your low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, or it could still be cobra if the spine's not ready yet. If you are in an upward facing, let's really activate the legs. Push really firmly into the earth with the upper part of the feet, and then that opportunity to widen the heart. Pull the shoulders down, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel a long neck. Take a breath in. And exhale, downward facing dog, rolling over your toes. Try to use as much belly power as you can every time you transition from that position of upward facing dog to downward facing dog. All right, so really firing up your center. Let's flow through that breath to breath. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, find that length through the spine. Exhale, hang your head and fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. Keep feeling that lift through the heart and the gaze. Exhale, dive down. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back. Chaturanga, high through low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Little pause here to open the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a long breath in. Open your mouth and empty it all the way. Now inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend your knees, walk or float forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, diving down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, chaturanga to the earth. Inhale, upward facing dog. Deep exhale, downward facing dog. All right. Give yourself a few breaths here. I always like these pauses. It gives us that opportunity to reorganize, whether it be the breath, the body, right, our attention. Give yourself a couple more deep breaths. Let them come in through the nose for this part, and that exhale keeps settling you in. All right. And then we'll continue into our sun bees. Next breath in, lift the heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale to your chair pose. Right, so I always like to build this really slowly. Fingertips can stay down, and we want to try to get a deep flexion through the ankles, the knees, and then the hips. And finally, float your arms up. Really good. So what we're looking here is you end up looking like a little lightning bolt at the end of it. Yeah, and you could create this line, this imaginary line from shoulders to knees to toes. And then right there, we can start to fine tune a little bit, see where we can connect deeper. So typically the back likes to really arch when we're in this posture. Just a little gentle tucking of your tailbone. You'll get a little more length. Dropping the ribs down. Now you can gather your belly a little bit deeper. Soften the shoulders. Every time our arms go up, our shoulders want to come with them. Remember, you can always bend your elbows a little bit more. You don't have to be in that rigid position. Good. And then still try to feel even roots through both feet here. Strong, steady breath, especially when we're challenged in a posture and it gets tougher physically. Focus on the breath more. Let's give it 2 more breaths. One more inhale. And exhale, we fold. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga to the earth, high through low. Inhale, upward facing dog. Big exhale, downward facing dog. All right. Now, peek at your feet always before we step into Warrior One. Give yourself that space to keep the hips square. So hips width distance is great. And then we'll step the right foot through for Warrior One. It's basically replacing your right hand, and then the back left foot will dial in. So we want to try to, again, establish that deep foundation equally as we can, right? So sometimes we tend to lean into the front leg. Just kind of feel a little bit more weight in the back one. See if you can create a little bit of space between the arch of your back foot and the mat so you feel the outer edge really rooting down. Good. So drop your heel down, Zeph. There you go. Okay. Hips are squaring, and now send the arms up. All right. Warrior one, it's a strong pose, right? There's a lot going on here physically, but then we have that opportunity to soften a little bit, right? The space, especially right between the brow, the third eye, let it soften. Right, moving into the expression, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the ribs. Keep your belly strong and together here. Let's bend a little deeper into that front knee if possible. Root down deeper through your back leg. Now shift your gaze up. Bring your hands together. Pausing for a moment. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, high through low plank. Great job, you guys. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, just a quick pause. Check your feet, and then we'll step the left foot through. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And then taking our time to establish this first one, and then right when we flow, you'll feel really organized. Right, so notice if this side needs a little more, a little less. I know for me, I always take my feet a little bit wider on this side. And then once you're there, be there, but find some light. Yeah, just a little fine tuning. Let's shift the gaze up, press the hands together. See if you can bend a little deeper into that left knee. Good. Take a strong breath in. And with the exhale, send it to the earth, high through low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Big exhale into downward facing dog. Take a breath in. And a breath out, and we'll flow through your sun bees. Inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, walk or float to the front. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale to your chair pose. One strong breath in. Excellent. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. To the earth we go. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Step the right foot through. It's an inhale, warrior one. Good. Empty the breath, chaturanga, sending it down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left foot through. Deep breath in, warrior one. Full breath out, chaturanga. Let the breath carry you. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Full breath out. Take another breath. And then I'm going to cue you breath to breath, but really focus on your rhythm, right? Not on how everyone else is moving, and just flow through your last sun bee. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend your knees, step or float to the front. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale to your chair. Good. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, chaturanga, high-low. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing. Right foot comes through. It's a deep inhale, rising to warrior one. And the exhale carries you down to the earth. Chaturanga, high through low. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left foot will come through. Again, a big breath to rise, warrior one. And a full breath out, returning to the earth, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Big exhale, downward facing dog. Great job. Let's take a pause here. You can stay in downward dog, or you can lower your knees and take a child's pose. Just a moment of, again, reorganizing, reconnecting if needed. All right, reestablishing that sense of presence. I was reading through my notes from when we were back in the studio a year ago, and it's pretty similar, but I was just in class I was talking about how the weather starts to shift, right? And those changes definitely take their toll on us. We feel it in our physical body, we feel it mentally. Some of us are ready for the cold, some of us are not, but it's just really interesting to look back, right? And think of things that we thought were challenging a year ago, and then looking at this year and seeing these extra challenges and knowing, right, we persevere, we go through these things, but we make it through on the other end. All right, let's give it one more breath here. And then take your time, especially if you're in child's pose. Come through tabletop first, maybe give it a couple of cows and cats, and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Yeah. All right. Once you're back in downward facing dog, give it another breath in, a strong breath out. And just like in Warrior 1, check your feet, make sure they're hips width distance. Now we'll step the right foot through for a crescent lunge. So if you'd like, you can start in a low runner's lunge first, establish your foundation, and then from there you can sweep the arms high into that crescent lunge. Good. All right. Notice what's happening with your center here. So sometimes when we come into these lunges, okay, we have strength through our legs, of course, strength through our center, but sometimes this happens and we just kind of forget about the pelvis, that whole area. So notice if that's happening and get a little lift so you're feeling like that whole pelvic area is strong and connected to the rest. All right, this looks so good. And then again, every single time you come into a posture, we work so hard to, I don't want to say perfect it, but we want to feel strong and connected and integrated, but also finding that other end of it, that lightness. So if anything feels tense, let's release it a little bit. Okay, from this crescent lunge, we're going to take a breath in. Keep the knee bent, step into Utkatasana, back to your chair pose. All right, so you're still really working that front leg. Good, settle back into your chair, and then we'll take our twist from here. So bring the hands together, draw them into the heart. Take a really deep breath in and hinge forward at your hips. Now on the exhale, begin to twist to your right side. All right, and it's nice to move breath to breath here. Every exhale, try to push a little more into the outer edge of that right knee with the back of your left arm. As you start to twist, take your eyes with you. So the more you twist, the more you look that direction. If you feel any tension in the lower part of the spine, remember that little cue I gave you. Tuck your tailbone underneath you, create some length, some more space. And then if possible, open up your arms. See if you can go a little deeper into the heart opening part of it. That's it, Connie. If you're able to look upwards, tuck your chin towards your chest just a little bit. And now slide the shoulders away from the ears. A little squeeze of the shoulder blades together here. That looks so good, Rob. We'll take one more breath in. And with your exhale, fold. Nice work. Give it a breath in and a breath out. Separate your feet just about as wide as your hips. And then let's go deeper into the fold. Let's grab the two big toes, right, for Padangustasana here. Take a reset. Inhale, lengthen, lift up, up, up. And then exhale, hang your head as you fold. Now keep pulling up into the toes, but keep pushing the toes down into your fingers too. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more open through the back line of your legs. So keep lifting the tailbone. Let the crown of your head reach down, down, down towards the earth. Good. Give it a couple more breaths here. And then we'll release the bind. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, send it down to the mat, high through low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ooh, it is warm. Take a breath in and a breath out. All right, let's do that on the other side, stepping the left foot through for crescent lunge. You can build it bit by bit here again. Make sure your feet are positioned to where you feel balanced as you rise up. And you all have great space between your 2 feet. So if ever you do feel unbalanced here, right, notice if you're standing with 1 foot in front of the other. And then just take it out a little wider. You'll get a broader base. All right. Find some softness. Good. And always just checking in, foundation first, moving up from there. Remember that strong center. See if you can open the heart a little bit wider. Good. Nice work, Zeph. All right, let's keep the front knee bent. Step into Utkatasana. Good. So good. Okay, hands together, bring them to the heart. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, twist. Begin that twist. Another thing to notice is if the knees are uneven, try to keep them as parallel as you can. And as you begin to twist, again, using that exhale, not only to twist, but to draw your center in as well. Good. Keep dropping your seat down. Keep lifting your heart a little higher. Yes, open up your arms if possible. Good. Remember to lengthen the neck by just that slight tucking of the chin. This looks so good. Let's give it one more breath. And exhale, we'll fold. Let's separate the feet, and this time we'll go into Padahastasana, gorilla pose. So for this, we're going to slide the hands right under the feet. Your toes will come up just to the wrist crease. And then again, a little reset breath in, lift, lift, lift. Exhale, hang your head. Good. You can still take some movement here too. Side to side might feel good. Imagine how much we're decompressing the spine here. All right. Even in our sleep, we tend to compress parts of the body, so just allowing it to have some space now. As we welcome the day, this lovely day. Let's take one more breath in. A breath out. Go ahead and slide your hands back underneath. We're going to keep the feet as they are, but inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, chaturanga, high through low plank, step it back. Big inhale, upward facing dog. And an exhale, downward facing dog. All right, let's give it a couple breaths. I would love to flow through that little sequence breath to breath. It'll feel really nice. So again, as I cue you, you don't have to follow that breath exactly. If you're taking longer in it, you do what you're doing, okay? All right, from downward facing dog, step your right foot through. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, hands to the heart. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, back to chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Big exhale, downward dog, stepping the left foot through. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, hands to the heart. Exhale, a deep twist. Inhale, back to chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. You can separate your feet as you step back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Ooh, so good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and open up for this one. Let it go. All right. Let's step the right foot through again, but for warrior one this time. I love coming into warrior one later in the practice because you feel so much better in it. Like your hips feel more open, hopefully, right? Do you feel a little bit stronger this time? Yeah. Okay, so from warrior one, let's release the hands behind and interlace them. Now, before we hinge forward, reach the knuckles down. See how that movement just by reaching to the earth draws the heart open. And then we'll humble this warrior. So you're going to shift your weight forward, reach with the crown of your head so the spine stays long, and then start reaching the arms up and over your head. Now do release the head here. Let it hang down. And keep the attention on your foundation here. So notice if your left hip is rising up. Can you bring it down so the hips are a little bit more square? Oh, these look so good. Keep bending into that right knee. Just a couple more breaths here. Should feel so good on the shoulders. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale, release your arms. Just shake them out a little bit. Inhale, rise back up to warrior one. All right, very nice. And this should be easier this week because we're on solid ground. Take a breath in, exhale, warrior three. So we're going to bring all the weight onto that right foot and then reach that left leg behind you. Try and press your hands together. Remember, you can always bend your elbows as much as you need to. And in these balances, breath is key. All right, from here, we're going to transition into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So I like bringing my hands to the hips first, and then you're going to stack the hips on top of each other. Okay, if you have a block, you can place your right hand on your block, and then when you're ready, send that left arm up to the sky. You can always put your hand all the way down to the earth here for balance as well. Just see what feels best today. All right, so keep those hips stacking, keep your center strong. We'll take one more breath in. Exhale, warrior two will be our landing. So go lightly with a little bit of control, landing that back foot. Yes. All right. You just kind of want to try to track that front right heel to the arch of the back foot. And same thing as when we were setting up, I was talking about this in Warrior One. Try to establish your base to where you feel that both legs are working as equally as possible here. And then we settle the shoulders if they're feeling tense this morning. Move the arms a little bit, whatever is going to release that. Just shifting your gaze somewhere over your right hand. A little drishti here. Now from here, flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And we're going to straighten the front leg. So you end up in a reverse triangle, really opening that whole right side of the body. Just one more breath in here. And exhale into triangle, Trikonasana. Okay, if you need to, you can always move the back foot in a little bit. Keep reaching the right hip back as you reach the right hand forward, and then gently land that right hand. It can land on your shin, on the floor. If you have a block, Zeph, it'll feel good to land it on the block. Yep. And then send that left hand up to the sky. Good. Oh, these look so good. So same thing here, right? We have that strong sense of foundation through the legs. Really hold yourself centered through your actual center here so that you're not really putting a lot of weight into the right hand. Good. Let's take just one more breath in, and with your exhale, rise up into star. So you're going to send your arms to the sky and let the toes rotate out a little bit. Yeah, reaching fingertips in either direction. From here, we'll take a breath in. With your exhale, you're going to sink down into goddess pose. So it's a bit of a squat here, reaching the tailbone down. Keep the heart open. Shoulder blades come together a little bit. And just make sure you're not arching your back. Make sure your ribs aren't sticking out. You want to soften that whole area. Strong, strong breath, strong center. Now inhale, rise back up into star. Exhale, warrior two. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, cartwheel all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Big exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take a strong breath in and then empty it all the way out. All right, one more time, deep inhale. A complete exhale. All right, let's try that on the other side. Step your left foot through. We'll come into warrior one first. All right, let's get ready to take flight. A breath in. Exhale, warrior 3. Just really take your time. Ooh, and I forgot one thing. Come back to warrior 1. How could I forget that? Sheesh. Release your hands, interlace them, reach the knuckles down, and then we'll humble this side of your warrior. So again, stay long through the spine, reach the arms up and over, let the head hang down. All right, keep rooting down through your right hip. Just a couple more breaths here. Good, good, good. All right, take one more breath. With the exhale, shake out just your arms. And now use an inhale to rise back up to your warrior 1. All right, we'll pause for the exhale and then prepare again. Big breath in. Exhale, warrior 3. Now try and keep your hips and your shoulders squaring down. So you're forcing that right hip to work as much as the left one. And then again, pressing the hands together. When the balances get tough, focus more on the breath. All right, let's begin the transition into half moon. You can just open up your arms or take that cue that I gave you. Maybe put them on the hips first as you stack them. And then reaching the left hand to whatever you're supporting it on this morning. Right hand to the sky. All right. Let's give it one more breath in. Exhale, warrior 2, landing. Warrior 2. All right, we'll settle into this side of your warrior. Soften that space where your third eye center is. Soften the jaw. Good. Release the neck muscles. Shoulders. Good. Wide open heart. Maybe you open it a little bit more. Good. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Straighten that front left leg. Should feel so good in that whole left side of the body. We'll take one more breath in. And exhale, Trikonasana, your triangle. Keep reaching that left hip back. Create length by reaching your left hand forward. And then release the hand. Right hand to the sky. Good. Yeah, if you feel like you're side bending, bring the left hand up a little bit more. See if that helps create some space. Yeah, that was good, Connie. That's a good adjustment right there. Perfect. And then you can, possibly float your arm like Jeff and just use more of your center power here. Let's take just one more breath. Exhale up to star pose. So again, you're reaching your fingertips up. Your toes point outward a little bit. Feel the space as you reach in both directions. We'll take a breath in. Exhale, goddess. Build some fire through the legs here. Good. Pull the shoulder blades closer together, opening up the chest and shoulders here. Soft ribs, tailbone pointing down. Good job, everyone. Inhale, rise up into star. Exhale, warrior 2. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Big exhale, downward facing dog. All right. I want to pause for a few breaths here. If you need a moment, you can come down to your knees and take a child's pose. And let's try to flow through that sequence breath to breath too. It's extra challenging because we have those balances in there, but I think we can do it. How about we give it 3 breaths? Really find your center here, right? When we do sequences that have balances in them, try to create even a longer breath. All right, so I'll hold you in a posture and I'll say empty, 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 that last drop of breath. That's key in staying balanced. All right, let's meet back in downward facing dog. And just take your time with it again. Move to the rhythm of your breath. It doesn't have to be completely at the same rhythm as what I'm cueing you. Okay, so we'll step the right foot through for warrior one. Take a breath in, rise up. Exhale, humble your warrior. Empty the breath all the way. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior three. Here's where we empty. Inhale, half moon. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, star pose. Reach, reach, reach up. Exhale, goddess, down towards the earth. Inhale, star pose, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, cartwheel all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot through. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, humble your warrior. Empty the breath. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior three. Inhale, half moon. Exhale, warrior two. Flip your front palm. And I messed up here. I forgot your triangle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, triangle. We'll do it again on the other side here. Sorry about that. Now inhale, star pose from here. And exhale, goddess, down to the earth. Inhale, rise up, star. Exhale, warrior two. Now flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse it. Exhale, cartwheel all the way down, high through low. Inhale, upward facing dog. Deep exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, let's reset, especially me. I already forgot 2 postures this morning. We'll do it again, and I won't forget your triangle this time. All right, big breath in, big breath out. Step your right foot through. Inhale, warrior one, deep breath in. Exhale, humble your warrior, release your head. Inhale, back to warrior one. Exhale, warrior three. Inhale, half moon. Exhale, warrior two. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, triangle, Trikonasana. Inhale, rising up to star from here. Exhale, goddess, towards the earth. Inhale, back up to star. Exhale, warrior two. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel it down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Giant exhale, downward facing. Step your left foot through. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, humble that warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior three. Inhale, half moon. Exhale, warrior two. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse it. Exhale, triangle, straighten that front leg. Inhale up to star, reaching to the sky. Exhale, goddess, towards the earth. Inhale, rising up, star. Exhale, warrior two. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, cartwheel it down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Great job, you guys. Take a breath in through your nose. And empty it out through the mouth. I just want to do one more quick balance just to open up the hips a little bit more. So to do this, why don't we walk the hands? Let's see, I want to end up, we can come to the back end of the mat. So walk your hands towards your feet. And then we'll heel toe the feet together and rise all the way up to standing. If you need a breath, take a breath, sweep it up. And let it go. Okay, we're going to start just by lifting up that right leg and compressing it into the torso. So I want to get a deep hip flexion here, but using your arms, you're going to release any tension from the hip because you're carrying the weight with your arms here. All right, find your drishti, just one point to focus on here. Couple breaths. Okay, from here, we'll take it into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So you're going to keep your right hand on your knee and take that leg out to the side, and you can shift and place your hand in front, opposite arm out. Good. You could also take the full extension here and grab onto your toe, extend that leg. Maybe shift your gaze over towards your left hand. And now from here, bring it back to center, and you're going to catch that foot behind you, sort of like a single-legged hero pose here. First, reach the left arm up. Try really bringing that right heel towards your bum. And now try reaching and catching it with your opposite hand as well. See how that works out. You could always just place the hand at your low spine if it doesn't catch the foot. Now really open the heart. Shoulders wide open, collarbone wide. Okay, last part here, we're going to go into dancer's pose. So sweep the left arm up again, and now you're going to catch the inside of the foot instead. And now, opposition here, reach that right leg back, reach your heart forward. Keep lifting up that right foot. Soften the shoulders. Take just one more breath in. And exhale, release that foot down to the earth. Great job. All right, give it a little reset. You know, it's a lot on the feet, on the ankles. And then we'll do that sequence on the other side. So first we'll just catch that left leg. Release the hip flexor as much as you can. Let's give it one more breath here. Okay, and then we'll begin to open it up. If you took the full extension on the other side, give it a shot. Sometimes, you know, both sides cooperate. Sometimes they don't, but just pushing the edge a little bit this morning. We'll bring it back to center. Take that right arm up, and now bring that left leg behind you. Good. Soften the shoulders. Try to bring your knees parallel to each other. Perfect. And then we'll turn this into a double stretch. Reach behind you with the opposite arm. See if you can now really widen the heart space. Okay, finally, dancer's pose. Sweep the right arm up. Switch your hand to the inside of the back foot. Oh, and then here we go. Oppositional energy moving through you, reaching in two directions. Right. Give it one more breath in. And exhale, come rise up to standing. Good job. Give it a little stretch. Take a giant breath in. With your exhale, release into a fold. Now from here, we're going to walk forward into high plank. And for our quick little core work today, we're going to do some shoulder taps. You always have the option to lower your knees, but separate your feet about as wide as your mat. Stay in your plank, and now I'm going to count to 30 seconds, tapping hands to opposite shoulder. Try to stay strong without shifting your weight too far side to side. Really pulling the belly together here. Reach the tailbone behind you. Tuck it under you. You're about halfway. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold your high plank. Bring your feet a little closer together. And then drop to your low plank. We'll hold that. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Melt down. Give it a moment. Turn your head to one side. Release your arms alongside you. Couple breaths. Great job, you guys. So good today. Turn your head the opposite direction. Just give the neck a little break here. All right. Why don't we do some belly back bends today? I feel like we haven't done them in a while. So instead of Setubandha Sarvangasana, let's start with Shalabhasana A. So we'll bring the third eye down towards the earth. For this, spin your palms so that they're pointing down. Okay. And now bring your legs as close together as you can. On an inhale, we're going to lift everything up. Head, neck, shoulders, arms, legs. And once again, even though we're lifting here, try to create some length. Reach the crown of your head forward. Reach your feet behind you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Try to come up off the lower part of the ribs. Take one more breath in. And exhale, soften. Turn your head towards. Shalabhasana B will bring the third eye to the earth again. This time, interlace your hands at your low spine. On an inhale, we're going to lift everything up once again. Try reaching your knuckles towards your feet and then gently lifting your arms up off your torso. Shoulders away from the ears. Pull them back. Try to get up onto those lower ribs. Take one more breath in. And exhale, release it. Turn your head. You can windshield wipe your legs here or do some little egg beaters. Connie, just release your bind. Let your arms come down at your sides. Good. All right. And then let's do one more. So if A or B felt good to you, stick with that. If not, let's try both today. So third eye returns to the earth. This time we bend both knees, catch the outside of the feet. So reverse from dancer's pose. We're catching the outside now. And now on an inhale, lift everything up. All right. Try flexing your feet here. You can rock a little bit forward and back. Try to really come up off those bottom ribs. Keep the neck long, though. Keep looking towards the front of your mat. Let's take one more inhale. Come up as high as you can. And let it go, exhaling. Good job. Turn your head, release your low back. Right. Okay, let's come into a little bit of flexion in the spine to counterbalance that. So let's come up to tabletop first and then sink back into child's pose for a couple breaths. All right, do for your hip opener. If you want to do half pigeon, you can come back to tabletop, head into downward facing dog, or even go through a whole vinyasa, and then we'll go into the right side first. So either half pigeon, you could do a seated half lotus. I think I'm going to do that one today. Or you can come onto your back and do a figure four. Just opening up that whole right side of the hip. And these hip openers, these are those movements that tend to be quite physically sensational. So if you can sort of just allow yourself to feel that part of it. And then just allow yourself also to detach from that part of it and sink in. Keep the mind really quiet and calm as you create some space in this very, very vulnerable area of the body. Right? Again, we compress into it all day long. So just being really gentle. Let's take maybe 2 more breaths here on this side. And now as slowly as you came into it, take your time coming out of it as well. Right? It always feels good to take a little stretch first before we transition into the other side. All right. And just releasing expectations as well here. I know, especially in these types of postures, I always find myself struggling with the fact that I cannot go as deep into one side as I can into the other side. So if we can just sort of release that expectation and just, be grateful for the opportunity to just open up some space, right, without any pressure. And if at times when you're in these postures that are in stillness, a lot of times the mind likes to wander at that point, likes to get loud again. So just try listening to the sound of the breath, the actual sound of it. Let's again give it about 2 more breaths on this side. Just listening to the breath, feeling the breeze, staying present. And when you feel ready, go ahead and ease your way out of this side. Okay. Let's come into inversion finally. All right, before we finish, simple inversion is lying on your back, legs up for waterfall. You guys, I know some of you like to go a little bit more dynamic, go into your shoulder stand, some headstands, whatever feels right this morning. Just getting your feet up high over your heart. I'll give you a few cues for those of you that are in shoulder stand. Okay, so we've already created so much space, in that cervical spine, the neck. So we want to keep that space open, but not overdo it. Okay, so in this posture, it's tricky not to press the back of the neck into the mat. So try lifting your eyes, lifting your chin until you feel a great amount of space between your actual neck and your mat. And then all that space that you open through the rib cage, right, without compressing it, still feeling a lift upwards. So as if normally in class, I would grab your ankles and just kind of lift them up to get a little bit of weight off the torso. And try and find a line now from your ankles to your knees, to your hips, to your shoulders. These look so good. And then when you're ready, if you want to transition into plow, let your eyes follow your feet, and then you'll keep that space behind your neck. Yeah, and then you gently land them. Or if it's tricky to land the feet, you could always bend your knees and bring your knees a little closer to your head here. Good job, Rob. Yeah, Connie, that looks good. Awesome work, everyone. Why not give it like 2 or 3 more breaths and then very gently ease out of it. You all went dynamic this morning, so go slowly. All right. We'll meet on our backs and then just take a couple more postures before we settle into rest. So once you're on your back, let's take a twist. Let's bring both knees in and really keep them as close to your chest to where the actual hips are lifting off the mat. And now keep that as you rotate to one side, whatever side you want to start with. All right, so we're creating a lot of length through the low spine as we come into this twist. That way we're not torquing the spine at all. And then go ahead and extend the arm out to the side. And just try to look towards that extended, or where the knees are. Shift your gaze to the opposite side. So whatever arm is reaching long, try to look in that direction as long as it feels okay on your neck. And then just let the shoulder blades sort of sink into the earth underneath you. All right. And now bring it back to center, keeping the knees high again, and gently rotate to the opposite side that same way. Okay, bring it back to center. Draw the knees into the chest. One more little counter posture. Go ahead and rock forward and back a couple times. Come up to seated. We'll lengthen the legs. Take a forward fold. Melt over the legs. And then roll your spine up to seated. Bring your hands behind you into fish pose, dropping the forearms down, lifting the heart, releasing the head back. Now simply lift your chin towards your heart. And now go ahead and lie all the way back down. Maybe take a long body stretch, extend your arms, extend your legs. Do take a look at those clouds. They look so lovely floating over us. And then settle into a restful pose, whatever feels best right now, just for a couple minutes. Like closing the eyes. Now releasing the breath, so there's no effort even in the breath for just this part of your practice. All right. And try to block out any sounds now. Shavasana. as you lie and rest, just recite the loving kindness meditations, one of my favorite meditations from Rebecca Pacheco, who used to teach at Watertown with us. Just listen to it and try to take it with you. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Just take a moment to reawaken the breath. So bring it back to life, to where it's intentional again. Notice how it feels now versus that first or those first few breaths that you took when you stepped onto your mat this morning. Hopefully it feels more spacious, longer, deeper. And then from here, let's bring the knees gently into the chest and just take a moment in fetal posture. So roll over onto your right side. Take a couple more breaths. It's nice to sort of scan the physical body now and notice where you were able to open up some space, or maybe just soften some space or soften some areas of the body. That's always helpful as well. And always honor yourself at the end of your practice for really setting the time to do this. Sometimes the hardest part is making it to practice, stepping onto your mat. And then once you're there, right, the rest just sort of flows. Okay, let's come up to seated and we'll finish there in a seated position. Whatever feels comfortable. You can sit cross-legged in Sukhasana, Vajrasana. I'll choose that today if the hips are a little tight. And then let's close the eyes. Bring the hands to heart center. And since you began your day with practice, just really putting effort into trying to keep the mind, as calm as you were able to get it this morning. And keep the breath as awake as you can. Let's take a long inhale together. Open your mouth, let that breath go. If you'd like to join me, I'll close with one more Om breath in. And then lifting your hands right to your third eye center. Always with love, gratitude, and deep respect, we'll finish by bowing to each other. Namaste. Right. Great job, everyone. Give yourselves a hand. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here and for just supporting this community. It's been so nice that we've all been able to do this. I think it's brought us a little sense of of life again. You're so welcome. Did you enjoy it? Oh, you're so welcome. I'm just going to turn this off.